Piper,
Hey.
you look amazing tonight. You always look amazing.
Thank you.
Do you want to come over?
Last night was really special.
Evan, what are you doing in my apartment? You're dating Evan Ebert?
We are not dating. It was a one-time thing. This morning I was barf city. I think it's just like something I ate.
It's either that or you're pregnant. Are you pregnant?
No.
They're both positive.
Oh, God! I know who the father is!
Evan's not that bad.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm trying to lighten the mood because you let Steve from Blue's Clues enter your body.
What if I met a fantastic guy and then we have sex and then he thinks the baby is his? Oh my God, Evan. Of course, you're my Uber driver.
It's not exactly how I envisioned our second date.
He's the definition of a man-child. I really want this baby to have a better childhood and upbringing than I had.
You're a great guy, but you really need to move on. Piper doesn't like you like that.
We slept together. Doesn't that mean anything?
Do you know what this is? It's magical.
Family!
All of this, it's a lot. I have to tell him the truth.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Plan B, available everywhere right now. I believe it's on Freevee, Plex, Tubi, all streaming platforms. Go check it out. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Joining me to talk all things Plan B is writer, director, producer, Brandon Tamburri. Thank you so much for your time today, sir. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Really appreciate you having me on.
Definitely. So, having a plan B, I'm thankful you gave me a plan B. To be honest, if y'all don't know, there's a lot that I do here at the NRWC. We put out tons of interviews every day, but also traffic can get into that equation when you're trying to do all these things. So my plan B was, hey, Brandon, can we reschedule? And he let me in and let me have that. I just wanted to I said that because it kind of works with the film, Brandon. So I appreciate your time, but it just, the emphasis of always having a plan B. Things may not always go as they plan. And that is also why I love this film. It has all those layers of figuring things out, and just life is gonna life. And you know what? You can figure all things out. You may think you have it planned out, but you just got to go with where your heart is and just let things live. And where did this idea come for you to write that? I know that's not the idea of the film, but where did this idea and this comedy come from you, Brandon, to put together Plan B?
Absolutely. So back when I was in college, I had a friend tossed the idea around of like a pregnancy movie, and it was like somewhat similar, but not fully there. And then that idea of just a pregnancy comedy just sat in my mind for several years. And then as I graduated college and got like a couple years older, people in my life, like family, friends that I was close with, I saw firsthand just go through a pregnancy. And part of that just realized like how stressful a pregnancy can be. And then I was just trying to think of like what I really could do to make like a funny twist on the pregnancy experience. And then this is what I came up with.
And it's wonderful, and I dig that. I love that. That's the vibe came from existing stuff, but also a little bit scary. Have you thought, or have you heard from people that like might have seen the film, or even in the act of doing this film with all the different people who had involved? And I want to get into that as well, because you had some superstars in this, Brandon, of just maybe people taking this concept into reality, and maybe there's some couples out there like that are living this. What has that like?
Yeah, so
have you had conversations like that?
I'll say the story's totally fictional, but there have been more people than I would like to admit that have came up to me at some point in the process of either making the movie or since it came out saying like, oh, I know a friend who someone did that too.
Wow.
Which really, really isn't great. And if you were to ever watch like Maury Povich or Jerry Springer, Dr. Phil, like this is pretty much every single episode.
It's a nightmare, dude. Amazing. But you did it with such it's I love how the character, and I don't want to spoil for the people that haven't seen it, kind of figures themselves out, and we live with these characters for them to figure things out and how it should be. So putting this together, what was production like, and getting so many amazing stars in here, man? You know, Shannon, look right here, Jon Heder that we see on the poster, Shannon Elizabeth, Tom Berenger. What was it like putting this production together and getting these big names involved?
So the whole process was honestly years in the making. So the first draft of the script was actually from 2018, and it pretty much was just sitting in a drawer for several years. And then 2021 is really when I decided like I'm going to put my producer hat on. Nothing was really happening with the script, so I was like, I'm going to go out there and try to actually raise some money and try to get this thing made. And then it really took over a year to actually get the money to make the movie. And then once the movie was actually financed, it all came together pretty quickly. Jon Heder was the first big piece. Well, I'll say Jamie Lee, the lead actress who's great in the movie, she came on board first. And she's a producer for Ted Lasso and a writer, a great comedian, has worked on some awesome projects. So just getting her in her first lead role in a movie, I think was really exciting because she just felt like someone who could really have a breakout performance. So that, as well as the strength of the script, really interests Jon Heder. And then once we got him on board, it really just gave us a lot of credibility because it went from this little indie comedy to a Jon Heder comedy movie. And then from that point, we got Shannon Elizabeth, we got Tom Berenger, we got Kate Flannery from The Office. So many just really great cast members came on board.
Definitely recognizable names and people that have given us a lot of moments in their time on film, and also give us some great times in this. So some of the situations in this, is there any favorite parts that you were looking forward to as the writer, director, putting together when you finally got into production and making these scenes come to life? And can you maybe, for those that might have seen the film like myself, some behind the scenes tales of the production of Plan B?
Yeah, so I'll give a couple different examples. So I'd say I think my favorite scene to actually film, just in terms of having fun on set, was probably the nightclub sequence because that was just one whole day of filming. We were it actually wasn't a real nightclub. It was this place called E Lounge, and it was like a venue that you would rent for like a Sweet 16 party or something. So we just rented that out and turned it into something that looked like a nightclub. And that was our day. We had like, I think 60 extras. We had maybe like 10 principal actors. So it really was just a lot of fun, fun scenes. I let a lot of the actors do some improv takes afterwards. So that was a lot of fun to film. But from the actual like movie and even like the script standpoint, a lot of the scenes I love are the emotional scenes. So a lot of the comedy comes from like the situation the characters get themselves into. And there really is a lot of heart. So I'd say a lot of the scenes, specifically with Jamie Lee and Jon Heder's characters, Piper and Evan, that are the more emotional, heartfelt scenes, are definitely my favorite in the film.
Love it. Were there any things that were kind of like particularly hard for you to put together, like in where we see the character? Again, I don't want to spoil, but also for those of us that have enjoyed the film and seen the film, like in the writing, in the situation of the film, that to just get that right note of how certain transitions change up and characters come into realization and everything like that.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of it is difficult because so much of it is just in honestly, the look and in the eyes of Jamie Lee's character, because there's moments in the script where it's like Piper, which is the character name, Piper feels guilty for the first time. And there's not really any dialogue there. So a lot of it comes down to just these looks on Jamie's face, and she really nailed a lot of those scenes.
Definitely. I gotta say, I was cheering for Jon Heder's character, but then obviously we knew that wasn't gonna happen because the whole point of the story is this Plan B operation. Can we talk about just the casting and just I forgot the name of the actor that is the Plan B actor.
Michael Lombardi is the actor, and
Yeah.
the character name is Cameron.
Can you talk about just some of the cast a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. Do you mean like in terms of the characters or just like casting those specific actors?
Yeah. Casting just all around, working with Michael Lombardi, what they brought to the whole experience and why.
Yeah, so I'll say at least at first, like Jamie in the lead role of Piper was great. Like I mentioned, she's a writer herself and a comedian, so she was always able to add a funny twist on a lot of the things that she said, and she came up with some funny improv moments that made it into the film. And Jon Heder, he's honestly just like a comedy legend. Like Napoleon Dynamite's an all-time comedy great movie. And same with Blades of Glory. Like people talk about Napoleon Dynamite. I personally like Blades of Glory a little bit better. I think it's more up my alley.
Okay.
So I grew up watching Jon Heder. So just being able to work with him was amazing. When
Like,
I
did you already
wrote
know John? Like, did you have you
Oh
worked
no,
with him
no.
or
He
something
was
like that?
somebody that like writing the script, you always have like a couple people in mind. And Jon Heder was one of those people that I had in mind for the role. Like when I was trying to get the movie made, I had a pitch deck that I created, and Jon Heder's
Mm.
picture was actually in the pitch deck as like an ideal casting
Oh,
option. And
nice.
then once we had the financing, we just made him an offer. Like I didn't know him or anything, and he just read the script and wanted to do it. Well, actually, I'll say that he wanted to meet with me, and then if our conversation went well, then he hopefully was going to do it. So that was a nervous
Ace is
meeting,
on
but
that one then. That's cool. Especially that his face was in the pitch deck. Oh, this is something I'm guaranteed to be in it.
yeah. Well, I don't think he saw that. I might have. I
Yeah.
think I mentioned that to him after the fact, like maybe
Yeah.
after we shot the movie.
Awesome.
So working with him was great, and then Michael Lombardi was great as well. So I actually met Michael through a mutual friend several months before we actually were filming. And the characters in the script, to be honest, I think I had them as like late 20s. And we ended up doing like mid 30s. So when they were originally late 20s, someone introduced me to Michael Lombardi, and I thought that he was a little bit older than at least I envisioned the characters. And then once we got Jamie and John, I was like, wow, this is perfect. Michael actually would fit this character now because he's really in the same age range as them. And I just wanted to make sure that whoever we cast as Piper was in the same range as Evan and Cameron in terms of age. So once we had those two, I just reached out to Michael Lombardi and he came on board.
Nice. And well, I said I was, well, well, I don't say, I was going to say the stoner me. I'm not a stoner no more. I can't do that. Long time ago, the younger me, of course I'm cheering for Jon Heder's character, but like I really felt for Michael. I felt bad for him, and then, for the choices and everything, but Jamie Lee had to figure out herself for herself, so obviously it's her journey. But I felt it. So I think it's always great when you can find yourself in these characters and you feel for these characters and you care about what they experience throughout the film, but
Yeah,
also
and
get your
I'll
laugh on because that's what this is about,
Yeah, and I can add in a little bit about that process as well, because that you mentioned some difficulties. That may have been the toughest thing, even from writing the script up until actually shooting it, was just finding that proper balance. Because in the very like first draft of the script, Cameron actually he seemed like a great guy, and then as the relationship went on, it's revealed that he actually is a bit of a jerk, and then Piper pretty much is considering Evan again. But the issue with that is like we want, as an audience, want Piper to realize that she's making a mistake because she's doing something terrible. We don't really want her to realize that Cameron's not the right guy because Cameron's a jerk. We want her to realize Cameron's not the right guy because she just realizes that she's in the wrong and she actually feels bad about it. So really just finding that balance, and then also just trying to make Evan someone that we want to root for, even though in the beginning, like, he's bad enough that Piper doesn't want to be with him, but he has to be good enough that the audience still is rooting for him.
Yeah. And I was all the emotions, man. I'm an empath. I'm about energy. So I was feeling all the different energy from these characters. I had a fun ride with this, man. Thank you for sharing about Plan B. And let me remind everybody again that it's available right now on all various digital platforms. Go check out Plan B from my man Brandon Tamburri. Now that Plan B's out there, can we just maybe spotlight anything else you have going on, or let people know how they can follow you and check out what you got going on? I know you got Joke Zero. You're the mind behind Joke Zero, where people can get some of their laugh on. Can you talk on that and just anything else before we let you go, Brandon?
Yeah, of course. So, like you mentioned, Joke Zero, that is my production company that is really focused specifically on comedy. Plan B was the first feature film. Hopefully, there's more to come. I don't necessarily have other feature films to plug, but if you're interested in hearing more about Plan B, we did do a season of the Joke Zero podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms. And it was a 20 episode first season. It was a lot of fun to do. And each episode has a guest who was associated with the movie, whether they be an actor or a crew member. And they really just go in behind the scenes of the movie, and then also just behind the scenes on filmmaking and other projects they worked on as well. So Jon Heder, for example, in his episode, he talks about working on Plan B, but also talks about starting in the industry, working on Napoleon Dynamite, working on Blades of Glory, things like that. And it just is like that for all of the cast members. So I wanted it to, one, be a standalone podcast that any film or comedy fan can go and listen to. and then also be something that could be like a behind the scenes type thing that you would see on the DVD of this, because we didn't really get a DVD release. It's just on all the streaming platforms like you mentioned.
So maybe a plan in later on down the road, maybe getting a Blu-ray DVD release.
Maybe that's not really
medium?
that's not really my call. We have a distributor of the movie, so if they made DVDs, I'd be all for it. But for right now, the movie's on Amazon Prime. Amazon Freevee isn't necessarily a platform anymore. They pretty much just merged into Amazon Prime, so it's on Amazon Prime. It's also on Tubi, as well as a few other platforms.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, thank you for your time and congratulations for this launch of Joke Zero's first film, Plan B. And I'm hoping and keeping my fingers crossed that you'll be able to get some more out there to entertain the public. And shout out on that podcast too. I love stuff like that. That just gives you kind of like more background. And as just anybody that's aspiring to be creatives like us and get into filmmaking, to give something that educates as well as entertains is also inspiring to get that firsthand knowledge from the people that you're able to encounter on this way, because I get that all the time and I'm sure you as well, so that you have that out there is just wonderful. But thank you for your time, Brandon. I really appreciate talking to you about Plan B, and again sending you some virtual flowers. Again, everybody, the amazing Brandon Tamburri, I'm gonna have all his links in the description below, but go check out Plan B, available right now. Get your laugh on, have some fun, get a drink, and please, if somebody in your camp while watching this says that this sounds like a cool idea, please let them know. Check them out. Dude, like, let's rethink this. Watch the whole movie. Don't start off the hand and think, okay, I need to call somebody and, like, you know, 'cause that's what I dread watching this film is, oh, somebody's going to take this a whole nother way. And I'm sure, as we both know, there's people out there probably doing that right now. Anyway, the amazing Brandon Tamburri, Plan B. It's a cautionary tale, but it's hilarious. I love it. Brandon Tamburri, I'm Kuya P. Nerds Rule the World.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds Rule the World. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you,
rule.
Nerds rule.
Love
it. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julie.
Nerds rule. Yes,
rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds Rule the World. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.